In order to explain the concept of middlewares in Go, I prepared a very simple web server. The handlers for the first and the second URL path are located in the handlers package. They only return a simple string response, so that one can easily distinguish between the two. I'm using curl to demonstrate that the code actually works. If I wanted to log the path of each request, I could write the respective code in each handler. However, I want to solve this a little more elegantly by implementing a logging middleware. Therefore, I'm creating a middleware package. Here, I'm going to create the logging middleware in the log.go file. In Go, a middleware is a function that takes a handler as an input. It also returns a handler. This is because a middleware can be regarded as a handler that performs some operations before the next handler will be called. You will see how this works in a moment, especially when we will chain multiple middlewares together. In order to return a handler, one can use a handler func. As you can tell from the documentation, this is actually an alias for a function that has the same signature as an HTTP handler. In Go, a handler must implement the serve HTTP method, and since the handler func does just that, it can be used as such. After the log statement for the path, I'm calling the serve HTTP method of the next variable, which is of type handler. This means that the middleware forwards the request to the next handler. Note that the next handler is actually the original one, which is simply the input of the middleware function. Now, I'm adding the middleware to both endpoints of the web server. Note that the middleware itself acts as a handler and takes the original first or second handler as an input. The original handler will deal with the incoming request after the logging middleware forwards the request to it. Consider liking the video if you want to support the channel. As you can see, the code works like expected. The server logs the incoming request for each path respectively. Now, I want to add a unique ID to each request and log it. Therefore, I'm going to create another middleware. Just like before, the middleware will take the next HTTP handler as an input and returns a handler, so that it can act as such. To act as a handler, the handler func is returned again. Remember, the handler func implements the handler interface and makes sure that the given function will be called. In order to create the unique ID, I'm going to use the Google UUID package. I'm downloading it by using the go-get command. Now, I'm creating a new ID for each request by using the UUID package. I'm going to assign this unique ID of type string to a request ID variable. In order to add this string to the incoming request, I'm going to creating a new context by using the withValue function of the context package. After that, I'm going to pass this context to the request while calling the serve HTTP method of the next handler. Since each request has a unique ID now, I'm going to log it by using the logging middleware that I created before. Finally, I have to chain the middlewares together. The original handler is the last element of the chain and will process the request last. When I run the code, you can see that the server logs each request with a unique ID and the respective path.